My friends, life is a lot like a basket of fruits. Every fruit has a taste, a texture, a season, and a purpose. And just like that, our choices also have consequences, flavors, and timing. If you eat a mango in winter, you'll complain it's tasteless. If you eat it in the right season, you'll say it's perfect. Similarly, when we make the right choices at the wrong time, or the wrong choices at any time, life feels bland, confusing, or even bitter. Think of your life as a garden. Every thought you plant becomes a seed. Every decision is like watering that seed. Every habit is the sunlight that helps it grow. And your attitude, that's the soil. If the soil is negative, even good seeds struggle. But if the soil is rich with gratitude, patience, and discipline, even small seeds can grow into mighty trees. Sometimes, life gives us lemons. Not because life wants us to suffer, but because lemon adds flavor. Similarly, some challenges are there to awaken your strength. Without the bitter taste, we would never appreciate sweetness. Without tough choices, we would never appreciate easy ones. The truth is, our choices today shape our life tomorrow. If you choose apples, don't expect mango juice. If you choose shortcuts, don't expect long-term success. If you choose anger, don't expect peaceful relationships. Life is always whispering, choose wisely. And if you don't listen, life speaks louder through results. So, choose people who uplift you. Choose habits that improve you. Choose thoughts that calm you. Choose actions that align with your purpose. Because your life is not built in a day, but built daily through each powerful choice you make. And just remember, fruits don't grow overnight. They need time. Similarly, your goals need patience. Your healing needs patience. Your progress needs patience. Don't rush the process. Trust the season. Nourish the seed. Protect the plant. And soon, you'll taste the sweet fruits of your own effort. Life is not about having the best fruits in the basket. It's about learning to make the best with what you have and choosing every day to grow better, wiser, and sweeter. Life is like a basket of fruits. Each choice we make carries its own unique flavor, effect, and outcome. When you look at a basket filled with different fruits, you notice how each one has its own identity. A mango can never taste like a banana. An orange will never become an apple. And a lemon cannot suddenly turn sweet just because we want it to. Similarly, in life, every decision has its own nature. Some choices bring sweetness. Some bring freshness. Some bring nourishment. And some bring a little bitterness that teaches us important lessons. And just like fruits, our choices reflect what we value, what we prioritize, and what we are willing to grow through. Imagine you wake up in the morning and decide to eat a fruit. If you choose an apple, you expect the taste of an apple. You don't complain that it isn't juicy like a peach or creamy like a banana. You accept it for what it is. But in life, we often make decisions and expect completely different results. We choose laziness, but expect success. We choose unhealthy habits, but expect a healthy body. We choose anger, but expect peaceful relationships. It is like choosing a lemon and then getting upset that it isn't sweet. The mismatch between choice and expectation is where most of our frustration begins. The beauty is that life always gives us the freedom to choose what to think, how to behave, whom to trust, how to respond, and what direction to walk toward. But life also has a rule. You are free to choose the action, not the outcome. The outcome is tied to the nature of the choice. If you choose a sweet fruit, you get sweetness. If you choose a bitter one, you get bitterness. This doesn't mean one is good or bad. Each fruit has a purpose. Even bitterness has value. But we must understand what result naturally flows from what decision. When we look at fruits, we don't judge them. We don't call a lemon bad because it is sour. We don't call a banana wrong because it isn't juicy. Each fruit has a role. And if we can apply the same understanding to our choices, our life becomes much simpler. Some choices are meant to bring comfort, some bring growth, some bring clarity, and some bring challenge. The sweet ones nourish our heart, the sour ones awaken our strength. Think of how we choose fruits at a market. We look carefully. Is the mango ripe? Is the orange fresh? Is the apple bruised? We pick with awareness. But in life, we sometimes make decisions without thinking, without checking, without asking ourselves if this choice is truly good for us. If we choose carelessly, we must be ready for outcomes that may not satisfy us. But if we choose mindfully, we experience the richness of life the way it was meant to be. This key point reminds us that life is not random. It is a circle of choices and consequences. Just like fruits don't suddenly change their flavor, life doesn't change its results unless we change our decisions. If we want sweetness, we must choose sweet actions. If we want peace, we must choose peaceful responses. And if we want a fulfilling life, we must fill our basket with the choices that nourish our mind, heart, and soul. Timing matters. Making good decisions at the wrong time often leads to poor results. In life, timing is the invisible force that quietly shapes outcomes more than effort, intention, or even talent. You may have the best skills, the purest heart, and the smartest plan, but if you act at the wrong moment, everything can feel misaligned. Just like eating a mango in winter leaves you disappointed, the rushing into a decision before its proper season often leaves you confused or frustrated. Think about how nature works. You cannot force a seed to become a tree in 1 week. Even if you give it the best soil, the best water, and the best sunlight, a seed takes its own time. And if you dig it up every day to check its progress, you destroy it instead of helping it grow. In the same way, some choices require patience, some require action, and some require stepping back until the timing becomes clearer. Life's seasons never arrive based on our impatience, they arrive based on readiness. Many people mistake urgency for importance. They think, if I don't do it now, I'll miss the chance. But doing something early can sometimes be as harmful as doing it too late. A fruit picked before its time is hard and tasteless. A fruit picked after its time is mushy and spoil. The right moment adds flavor, maturity, and wisdom to whatever you choose. Sometimes you may feel prepared, but the situation isn't. Other times the situation is ready, but your heart isn't aligned. In both cases, waiting becomes a powerful choice. We often admire people's successes, but forget to acknowledge that behind every visible achievement lies an invisible timeline. A timeline of waiting, preparing, learning, observing, and choosing. They didn't jump at every opportunity. They picked the right ones at the right moment. And that is why their results appear smooth and meaningful. Learning when to move, when to pause, and when to let life unfold is a skill that brings peace and direction. There are also moments when life gives us signs, subtle hints that it is not the right time. Maybe you feel inner resistance. Maybe circumstances look shaky. Maybe the path isn't clear. These are not obstacles, they are signals. Just like an unripe fruit signals, not yet. Some decisions require maturity, clarity, or emotional stability before they can be made wisely. Ignoring these signals is like ignoring the sour taste of an unripe fruit and pretending it is sweet. But timing is not only about waiting, it is also about courage. When the moment finally arrives, we must step forward with confidence. The right opportunity at the right time requires action, commitment, and energy. If you hesitate too long, even the sweetest fruit falls off the tree and becomes useless. So timing teaches us balance, not too fast, not too slow. The beauty of this key point is that it invites us to trust life's rhythm, to understand that not everything has to happen immediately, to believe that delay is not denial, and patience is not weakness. The right time will always bring the right outcome, just as the right season always brings the right fruit. Our role is to stay aware, stay ready, and stay connected with the flow of life so we can recognize the moment when it arrives. Our thoughts are seeds, decisions are water, habits are sunlight, and attitude is the soil. When we look at life through this simple metaphor, so many things suddenly become clear. Just as a garden doesn't grow by accident, a meaningful life also doesn't grow by luck. It grows because we plant deliberately, nurture consistently, and protect wisely. Everything begins with a thought. Every achievement, every mistake, every dream, every regret, its root lies in a single thought that was once planted in the mind. If a seed is healthy, it has the potential to grow into a strong, fruitful tree. But if the seed is rotten or negative, no amount of water or sunlight can turn it into something beautiful. This is why paying attention to our thoughts is the first step in shaping the life we want. Once a thought takes root, decisions act like water. Water determines whether a seed will grow, wither, or remain dormant. In the same way, decisions give energy and direction to our thoughts. You may think about improving your life, learning a skill, or building healthy habits. But unless you water those thoughts with clear decisions, they remain as empty wishes. Decisions are powerful because they turn potential into movement. Even a small decision, like choosing to wake up earlier, choosing to speak kindly, choosing to take responsibility, adds life to the seeds inside us. But watering alone is not enough. The seed also needs sunlight. That sunlight is our habits. Habits shape the daily environment in which our dreams grow. A person with strong habits doesn't need to rely on motivation every day. Just as the sun rises without being told, a good habit operates automatically. If someone has the habit of gratitude, even difficult days feel manageable. If someone has the habit of discipline, even big goals feel possible. On the other hand, negative habits can slowly drain our energy and weaken our dreams. A habit of procrastination, overthinking, or complaining works like a shadow instead of sunlight. It blocks growth and keeps us stuck in the same place. And finally, attitude is the soil in which everything grows. You can plant the best seeds, water them consistently, and give them plenty of sunlight. But if the soil is dry, toxic, or filled with weeds, nothing can flourish. Attitude determines the environment of our inner world. If our attitude is filled with fear, insecurity, and negativity, even good choices feel heavy and unproductive. But if our attitude is filled with openness, optimism, and humility, even challenges become opportunities. A positive attitude doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means creating an inner space where solutions can grow. When we look closely, this entire process is happening inside us every day. We are constantly planting seeds through our thoughts. We are constantly watering them through our decisions. We are constantly feeding them through our habits. And we are constantly shaping their growth through our attitude. Some people blame the fruit when the problem is in the seed. Some blame the seed when the problem is in the soil. And some blame life when the problem is in the habit. But once we understand this simple garden, within us, we realize we have far more control than we think. Everything we want to become begins with nurturing the internal landscape. When we align our thoughts, decisions, habits, and attitude, the life we desire naturally grows, just as a well-cared tree naturally bears fruit. Challenges are like lemons. They add depth, strength, and perspective to life. When you think about a lemon, you immediately think of its sharp, tangy taste. It's not the fruit you bite into casually expecting sweetness. Instead, it wakes you up. It jolts your senses. In the same way, life often gives us situations that feel sour, moments that sting, shake us, or force us to pause. And just like a lemon these challenges are not meant to punish us, but to awaken something within us that sweetness alone never could. If life only offered mangoes and grapes, soft, sweet, comforting experiences, we would never develop resilience. We would never know the strength hidden within us. The soreness of challenges teaches us how capable we actually are. Many people discover their strongest qualities not during peaceful days, but during difficult ones. When everything is smooth, we cruise. But when life squeezes us, just like squeezing a lemon, our true essence surfaces. Some people release bitterness, others release courage, and some release wisdom. Challenges reveal what we carry inside. A lemon also balances flavors in food. Without tanginess, dishes feel incomplete. In the same way, life's challenges bring emotional and spiritual balance. If everything was always going our way, we might become careless or ungrateful. But a challenge introduces humility. It reminds us to stay grounded. It teaches patience, acceptance, and adaptability. It sharpens the understanding that life is a blend of experiences, some sweet, some sour, and all meaningful. Think of times you were tested, emotionally, mentally, financially, or spiritually. At that moment, it may have felt harsh, but later, when you look back, you realized those experiences shaped you. They taught you who to trust, how to protect your peace, and where your priorities truly lie. A lemon doesn't taste pleasant on its own, but squeeze it into warm water and it becomes healing. Mix it into a dish and it enhances the flavor. Challenges too may feel unpleasant when faced directly, but when integrated into our life's journey, they add depth and nourishment to our character. Every sour situation you experience carries a hidden blessing. It may teach you to stand up for yourself. It may show you the value of people who stood by you. It may help you recognize unhealthy patterns. It may introduce you to your own inner strength. Life never sends a challenge without sending wisdom along with it. But wisdom doesn't come immediately. It comes when we reflect on what the situation was trying to teach us. Sometimes, people spend years trying to avoid challenges, thinking that a smooth life is a sign of happiness. But even a tree needs wind to grow stronger roots. Without resistance, it never learns to anchor itself. Without storms, it never learns to bend without breaking. Similarly, when life throws a lemon our way, it is preparing us for maturity, endurance, and emotional depth. The most beautiful part is that challenges also make us appreciate sweetness more deeply. Just as a sip of lemonade feels refreshing on a hot day, relief feels sweeter after struggle. Success feels more meaningful after effort. Peace feels more precious after chaos. The sour moments give us the contrast. We need to recognize the sweetness of life's blessings. Challenges are not obstacles to your journey. They are an essential ingredient in the recipe of your growth. And just like a lemon, they may sting at first, but they always bring clarity, strength, and a renewed sense of purpose. You cannot expect sweet results from bitter choices. Consequences always match the decisions we make. This is one of the simplest truths of life, yet one of the hardest for people to accept. We often want life to be generous, even when our efforts are careless. We want relationships to be peaceful even when our words are harsh. We want success to bless us even when our habits are lazy. It is like planting seeds of a neem tree and waiting for mangoes to grow. Nature doesn't work that way, and neither does life. Every choice carries a certain energy with it, and that energy echoes back to us sooner or later. If someone chooses dishonesty, they may temporarily benefit, but eventually trust breaks and relationships weaken. If someone chooses inconsistency, they may get a few victories, but long-term progress becomes impossible. If someone chooses anger repeatedly, they may win arguments but lose people. The bitterness we put into the world, into our habits, and into our decisions eventually returns as the bitterness we experience. Just as fruit cannot change its flavor after it has grown, the outcome of our choices cannot suddenly shift into sweetness if the intention behind them was sour. Many people try to skip this truth by expecting life to be an exception in their case. They do the minimum and expect the maximum. They give little effort but hope for huge results. They make unhealthy choices but want a healthy life. They invest poorly but want a high quality outcome. But life remains fair. It gives us exactly what we feed into it. The beautiful part of this truth is that it gives us responsibility and power. If bitterness comes from bitter choices, it means sweetness comes from sweet ones. If a harsh decision leads to regret, a kind decision leads to peace. If a careless habit leads to stagnation, a disciplined habit leads to progress. Life mirrors our actions the way water mirrors our face. This means we are never trapped. We can choose differently at any time and create new results. Imagine drinking a glass of water and wondering why it tastes bitter, only to realize you yourself added lemon, salt, or something else. Sometimes we don't even realize the bitterness we experience comes from ingredients we added long ago. Negative thoughts, wrong relationships, procrastination, impatience, ego, or jealousy. Life seldom surprises us. It simply reveals the flavor of the choices we've been making quietly. This is why self-awareness becomes so important. When something in life feels bitter, instead of blaming circumstances or people, we can gently ask ourselves, what choice did I make that led me here? This question is not to make us feel guilty, but to help us regain control. Because if our previous choices created the bitterness, our next choices can create the sweetness. Even in nature, if a tree has produced bitter fruit one season, the farmer doesn't yell at the tree. He nurtures the soil, prunes the branches, waters regularly, removes weeds, and waits for the next season. And the tree responds. It improves, it heals, it grows better fruit. Similarly, if our past choices brought unpleasant results, we can change our inner landscape, our intentions, our habits, our priorities, and life will respond with improved outcomes. This principle is liberating. It means we are not victims of fate. We are gardeners of our destiny. Every sweet result in life, peace, love, success, wisdom, health, is produced by consistent sweet choices. And every bitter result, stress, conflict, regret, is produced by choices that were misaligned with our highest good. Life is not punishing us. It is teaching us alignment. When we understand this deeply, we stop expecting mangoes from lemon trees and start planting wisely, consciously, and lovingly. Because the flavor of tomorrow is decided by the choices we make today. Life softly guides us. But if ignored, it teaches through stronger, tougher lessons. There is a gentle intelligence woven into the fabric of our experiences. an inner voice, a quiet intuition, a subtle discomfort, or a small whisper that nudges us in the right direction. It never screams at first. It always begins with a soft signal, a feeling that something isn't right, a thought that we should pause, a hint that we should walk away, or a sense that a particular choice needs more attention. These gentle nudges are life's way of saying, please look here, please reconsider, please reflect. But most of the time, we are too distracted, too busy, or too confident in our own assumptions to listen. Life is patient. It doesn't impose itself immediately. It gives small clues, an uneasy feeling in a conversation, a repeated doubt about a decision, a quiet sense of exhaustion from a habit that is not good for us. These signs are like tiny ripples on the surface of a lake. They don't disturb us, but they are enough to warn us that something underneath needs attention. If we ignore the ripples, the water becomes more turbulent. The signals become louder. Think about how life gives warnings. A relationship begins to feel heavy, but we stay silent. A habit begins causing damage, but we tell ourselves we'll fix it tomorrow. A job drains our energy, but we continue out of fear or comfort. Life always begins with small lessons, lessons that are gentle, manageable, and easy to understand. But if we refuse to learn from the gentle lessons life eventually introduces tougher ones. It's very similar to how a teacher behaves in a classroom. If a student doesn't pay attention during the simple explanations, the teacher repeats. The tone becomes firmer. Eventually, the exams become more challenging, not to punish the student, but to ensure that learning happens. Life also operates like a compassionate teacher, never cruel, but always committed to our growth. When the soft nudges are ignored, the stronger lessons come in the form of consequences. A friendship breaks because issues were never addressed. Health declines because warnings were ignored. Opportunities fade because procrastination took over. Peace disappears because we continued walking the wrong path, even though we sensed it wasn't meant for us. These harder lessons are not meant to hurt us, they are meant to awaken us. They shake us so that we return to alignment. Sometimes people wonder, why is this happening to me? But if they reflect honestly, they realize the signs were always there. Life had spoken many times, just not loudly. The louder the lesson, the more it indicates that the softer messages were overlooked. The beauty, however, is that life never stops teaching. Even the toughest situations come with wisdom hidden inside them. They push us to grow, rethink, and rebuild with more awareness. Eventually, when we begin listening to life's softer signals, everything becomes easier, decisions become clearer, intuition becomes stronger, relationships become healthier, the path feels smoother. When we tune into the whispers, life doesn't need to raise its voice. Instead of collisions, we experience guidance. Instead of confusion, we experience clarity. Instead of setbacks, we experience gentle redirection. Life is always speaking. Sometimes as a whisper, sometimes as a warning and sometimes as a wake-up call. The earlier we listen, the gentler the lessons remain. When we learn from the whispers, we never have to face the storms. And the more we stay aware, the more we realize that life has always been on our side, teaching, guiding, and lovingly shaping us into who we are meant to be. Choose relationships that nourish your growth rather than drain your energy. In life, the people we surround ourselves with shape us more deeply than we often realize. Just as a plant cannot thrive in poor soil, we cannot thrive in relationships that constantly take, weaken, or suppress our potential. Human connections are powerful. They influence our mindset, our emotions, our confidence, our habits, and even our dreams. When relationships are healthy, they fill us with strength, clarity, and motivation. But when relationships are draining, they leave us confused, exhausted, and disconnected from who we truly are. Think of relationships like fruits in your basket. Some are sweet and comforting, bring in joy and peace to your heart. Some are like oranges, refreshing, supportive, and full of nourishment. Others may be like unripe fruits, hard, unpredictable, and not ready to offer anything meaningful. And then there are those that have turned stale. No matter how much you try to make them taste good, they only leave you feeling disappointed or hurt. The truth is, every relationship has a flavor, and that flavor affects your emotional well-being. There are people who lift you up with a single conversation. They see the good in you even when you don't see it in yourself. They remind you of your strengths, encourage you when you doubt your path, and stand by you in silence when words are not needed. These relationships are like sweet fruits. They nourish you, energize you, and fill you with gratitude. Being around such people makes life feel lighter. You grow simply by being in their presence. On the other hand, there are relationships that constantly demand energy without giving any back. They may be filled with criticism, negativity, comparison, manipulation, or emotional pressure. These people drain your inner resources slowly, like a leak in a water tank that eventually leaves it empty. After interacting with them, you feel more tired than before, more confused instead of clear, more insecure instead of confident. These connections do not help you grow, they hold you back. Growth isn't only about achieving goals or becoming successful. It is also about emotional and spiritual expansion. You deserve relationships that allow you to breathe freely, not those that make you shrink. You deserve voices that speak kindness into your life, not those that silence your dreams. You deserve circles that inspire you to become better, not ones that pull you back into old versions of yourself. Choosing nourishing relationships doesn't mean rejecting imperfect people. Everyone has flaws. It simply means choosing people who genuinely care, who want to see you grow, and who value the connection enough to contribute positively. It also means learning to create boundaries with those who consistently drain your energy. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters that protect your peace. A beautiful truth about relationships is that the right ones don't make you doubt your worth. They don't make you feel like you need to earn love, apologize for being yourself, or walk on emotional eggshells. Instead, they make you feel safe, appreciated, and understood. They support your dreams. Even if they don't fully understand them, they celebrate your progress, comfort you in setbacks, and stay consistent through the seasons of your life. The relationships you choose directly impact who you become. When your circle is filled with people who radiate positivity, sincerity, humility, and emotional maturity, their qualities begin to reflect in you as well. And when your circle drains your joy and peace, you slowly lose touch with your true self. Choosing nourishing relationships is one of the most powerful life choices you can make. Because when you choose the right people, you are not just choosing company. You are choosing an environment in which your soul can grow. Daily habits build your long-term reality. Consistency matters more than intensity. Many people believe that transformation comes from huge, dramatic decisions, but real change is built quietly, slowly, and steadily through the small things we choose to do every day. Just like a tree grows not through one heavy rainfall, but through consistent nourishment, our lives also grow through repeated actions that shape our character, mindset, and direction. Habits are powerful because they work silently. They don't ask for applause. They don't make noise but over time, they sculpt our destiny. Think of how a fruit ripens. It doesn't become sweet in 1 hour. It doesn't mature in one sudden burst of sunlight. Every moment of warmth, every drop of water, every silent second on the branch contributes to its final flavor. In the same way, every small habit, whether positive or negative, adds up to create the life we experience. If someone has the daily habit of gratitude, even difficult days feel manageable. If someone practices patience every morning, chaos cannot easily disturb them. If someone reads or learns a little each day, wisdom naturally grows. These habits may seem small, but their long-term effect is extraordinary. The mistake many people make is believing that massive effort brings massive results. They start with intensity, working for hours in one day, forcing discipline in 1 week, or trying to break unhealthy habits overnight. But intensity fades, motivation fades, excitement fades. What remains is consistency, the quiet commitment to show up, even when the excitement is gone. A person who walks 10 minutes every day will be healthier than someone who jogs for 2 hours once a month. A person who reads 1 page daily will be wiser than someone who reads a whole book once a year. Life rewards consistency because consistency builds identity. Habits also act as anchors. When life feels chaotic, habits provide stability. When emotions fluctuate, habits keep us grounded. When challenges arise, habits remind us who we are. A person who meditates daily is less shaken by stress. A person who journals regularly understands their own emotions more clearly. A person who practices kindness becomes naturally compassionate instead of forcing it occasionally. Habits become the invisible structure holding our life together. Negative habits work the same way. They grow quietly. They settle into our routines without warning. A little procrastination becomes a pattern of delay. A little negativity becomes a mindset. A little carelessness becomes a lifestyle. And by the time we notice, these habits have already shaped part of our reality. That is why awareness is important, because habits form whether we choose them consciously or unconsciously. The encouraging truth is that habits don't need to be perfect. They just need to be consistent. Even missing a day isn't failure. What matters is returning the next day. Even taking small steps is progress. What matters is moving forward. A tree doesn't grow every day at the same speed, yet it continues upward. Our lives are the same. Some days we grow a lot, some days a little, but the important thing is that we keep growing. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can depend on you. This creates inner strength that no one can take away. And as your habits strengthen, your identity evolves. You no longer view yourself as someone who trays, but as someone who becomes. Daily habits are the quiet architects of our future. They shape our thoughts, emotions, health, relationships, and success. Over time, they carve pathways that lead us to who we are meant to become. And the most powerful thing about habits is that you don't have to build the entire future today. You only have to take one small step. Repeat it consistently until the future builds itself through you.